Hello everyone, welcome to our third day of gratitude from our 3 days of gratitude series in the lead up to Thanksgiving. Today I really wanted to talk to you about how to develop gratitude, right? Maybe many of you already feel this. I'm going to start off with a question. I want you in the comment section to tell me what you're really grateful for, right? What have you been grateful for today, this week, this month, this year, whatever it is? I want you to think long and hard or really short and quick. And I've talked about gratitude before, but today I really wanted to talk to you about why we are not grateful, like why we stop ourselves, what are the barriers or blocks for us from being grateful, why we should be grateful, what are the real benefits. And finally, I want to specifically talk to you about keeping a gratitude. For many years, this is almost a lesson to myself so that I can go back to doing it. But this is something I did for consecutive years, can't remember, long period of time. And it's something that I still do mentally, but I still believe that writing it down is the most amazing thing. So let's talk about this. Why is it that we struggle to be grateful? In the comment section, let me know. Why do you feel sometimes in life you struggle to be grateful? So some of the most common answers include that we believe it's difficult and a bit useless. People go, oh, that's too difficult to have to think about what I'm grateful for every day. And what's the point of it anyway? Like, no one notices, no one cares. That's not true, but we'll get to that, right? That's one reason. The second reason is it requires too much effort, right? It requires us to actually sit there and figure it out and think it through. So it requires too much effort. And the third one is, and this is the one that I think we really need to connect to, is that we genuinely underestimate the power of gratitude in our daily lives. We actually underestimate it. Now, I posted a speech. I was doing a speech series on Facebook. If you don't already follow me, I'm at JShettyIW on Facebook. Come and find me. And I posted a video series called Speechless, where I'm posting some of my favorite speeches by celebrities. And I posted this one video by Matthew McConaughey. The video's now got like 35 million views. And in that, he says this phenomenal statement. And he says that it's a scientific fact that gratitude reciprocates, right? It's a scientific fact that gratitude reciprocates. And if you really unravel that, and that's what we're going to be doing today, we really underestimate the power that gratitude can actually have in our lives. Balbina says, we don't see the simple things in life to be grateful. Balbina, that's exactly what Oprah said. Oprah was saying that in the change from 1996 to like 2012 in her career, she was making more money, her business was progressing, she started up her own TV network, all of this great stuff was happening. But she felt that she was losing sight of the little things in her life. That's why she started keeping a gratitude journal. Some of the most successful people we look at today keep gratitude journals. Another reason why we struggle with gratitude is because we've surrounded ourselves with people who complain. And sometimes we are those people who complain, right? If you're not nodding, it's you. We complain. And we're surrounded by people who complain. So we complain so much that all we see is challenges and negatives. See, when you focus on problems, all you get is more problems. And when you focus on possibilities, what you create is more opportunities. And that's true because it's all a matter of focus, right? Whatever you focus on is what you amplify. And we're doing that every single day with our thoughts. We're doing that every single day with what we share with our friends. So being around complainers is something to watch out for. And that's something sometimes we can't get out of. That's where we've got to find this space to keep our own gratitude, a gratitude space, a gratitude journal. Next one, happiness dependent on external factors. When we start keeping a gratitude journal, we start becoming grateful for things we observe rather than things we expect, right? When we expect things, that stops us from being grateful because usually people aren't living their day so that they can live up to our expectations. They're living their day so that they can live up to their expectations. And when our expectations aren't met, we feel ungrateful because we feel that someone or something is not living up to our standards. And that's why having happiness based on anything external is a recipe for disaster because we'll always be let down. Whenever we want something outside to make us feel good, we'll always feel limited and ungrateful. And now the third one is that we have this do more, have more, be more syndrome, which is great. Ambition is great. But part of that is being grateful for the fact that you can even have ambition. Right, being grateful for what's already been given to you. When you're moving forward at a great pace and you're achieving things you never thought you would, you've got to take a moment to be grateful for what you've been given. because that's giving you the opportunity to build. Peace, love, energy, divine, 100%. If we do not appreciate what we presently have, we will never appreciate more. That's so true. And this quote I put out, if you're grateful for what you have, you'll be given more to be grateful for. One of the biggest challenges we have with gratitude is we postpone it. We say, when I get £1 million, I'll feel grateful. When I have all my family in one place, I'll feel grateful. When I have this, I'll feel grateful. We postpone, delay, push back, right? We make a scenario, an ideal scenario that we expect, that we want, that will make us feel grateful. But recognize this. The point we're making is that whatever we have is not enough, and we're looking for something else to feel that. Whereas, scientifically, if we feel grateful for anything we have, then we will feel grateful. So if you're grateful for $1, you're grateful for $100, you're grateful for $1,000, you're grateful for $10,000, you're grateful for $100,000, you'll be grateful for $1 million. It doesn't work that you'll only be grateful for $1 million, because when you have the $1 million, you want $1 billion, right? There's a different mindset. That gratitude mindset is the one that you want to tune into. So start tuning out of postponing gratitude and start tuning in to feeling gratitude in the moment you're in right now. Harrow, I don't have to chase extraordinary moments to find happiness. It is already there in the small, beautiful day-to-day moments. We just need to open our eyes. It's so true. It's so true. Because I was posting this the other day, that I was looking at from a hospital study, the regrets of people. And their top regrets was, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. I wish that I'd let myself be happier. I wish that I'd stayed in touch with my friends. And I wish I'd had the courage to live true to myself, not life others expected of me, right? Simple things. None of those things are complicated. None of those things are about moving forward with ambition. It's those simple, connected things. Susan said, the best part of journaling, especially gratitude journals, is going back and reading, especially on the day you are struggling. You start to realize that so many things open up. I couldn't agree more, right? Imagine having a book that you start writing today, Thanksgiving this year, and you write it every day for the next 365 days. And next year, 2017, on Thanksgiving, you open it up and you look at what you were grateful for. Imagine how many things you can add up every single day that you're grateful for, and imagine what you can reconnect to. So now I wanted to give you some ideas of how to keep an effective gratitude journal. These are from my own reflections, my own experiences, my own practice of keeping one. So I'm going to be sharing some stuff that I hope you can connect with. And I wanted to make this session less about the science. I will mention some scientific studies, but less about the science and more about the practice. I think everyone tuned in right now is convinced, right? It's a scientific fact that gratitude reciprocates. I think you're with me on that. So I want to help you deepen your practice. Now, gratitude journals are something I recommend you keep at least once a day or once a week, at the very least once a week, right? Once a week is great. If you can do once a week, ideally on a Sunday, fantastic. If you can do once a day, ideally before you go to bed, fantastic, right? Those are the two kind of recommendations I have. That's the best way to keep it. And in this gratitude journal, people are like, well, what does it mean? You know, what does it look like? You know, it can just look like this. Like, it just has to be a notebook. It doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to be a specific style of book, right? It can just be any notebook with lined paper. But you want something that stays in one place. Now, people often ask me, can I keep a gratitude journal electronically? Absolutely fine. But I would really recommend, ideally, having it somewhere where you're writing down. This ink, pen to paper, is so much more powerful when we're trying to write down things that impact us in a powerful way. So finding a notebook that works for you. If you want to do it electronically, if that's the only way, Evernote on your phone as an app or just in notes on your phone, absolutely fine too. But remember, once a week or once every day. Now, what do you do when you open up that book? You open up that book, do you have to write Dear Gratitude Journal? Do you have to write Dear Diary? No, you don't, right? This is how I recommend keeping it going, keeping it regular. So what I recommend is doing this 15 minutes before you go to sleep. This is also a great way of disconnecting from your phone. Right? How many of you are on your phones at least in that gap 15 minutes before you go to bed, right? If that is you, this is a great way of substituting that last 15 minutes, moving away from your phone screen and starting to keep a gratitude journal. I recommend doing it before sleep because it does two things. lets you sleep better because you've been allowed to offload your thoughts, you've gone to sleep with positive thoughts, you've banked them away, and at the same time you wake up with these positive affirmations. You wake up with the feeling that you went to sleep with. And you can also think about what you were grateful for that day. Kristen says, this is something I want to practice with my students. It will build a sense of community amongst them. Totally true, Kristen. Definitely recommend it with young people. Why does spirituality give rise to grateful behavior, says Nitin? One of the reasons is because we know that gratitude exists across all spiritual paths. It's one of those principles. When I had Doug Abrams in here about, I don't know, a month or 6 weeks ago, he talked about the book he wrote, the Book of Joy, with the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu. And he was saying that they talked about how happiness and joy is unlocked through feeling grateful. So gratitude is like a pillar in every single spiritual path. Now, this is how to actually write a gratitude journal. It's a way of making it simple. Write 5 things that you're grateful for that day or that week, right? At least 5. Now, the interesting thing about gratitude is that it should be specific and it should be genuine, right? There's no point of writing down just general stuff. Like, if you haven't genuinely felt grateful for the fact that you have oxygen, now we should all feel grateful that we have air to breathe, but if you don't genuinely connect with that, don't write it down, right? If you don't genuinely connect with the fact that you have clothes to wear and a house, don't write that down because you want to try and make it genuine. So 5 things that you're genuinely grateful for and be specific. So you may be, I'm grateful for my partner because he or she makes me breakfast. I'm grateful for my job because it's paying me enough for me to live my life. You know, I'm grateful for whatever it is, and make it specific and genuine. Don't just say, I'm grateful for my mom. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my dad. Don't leave it like that. Because the more specific you get, the more you're wiring and tuning your brain into noticing these subtle things, observing these subtle things. So write down top 5 things that you're grateful for. You can start with material things if that helps, and then move into more subtle, more invisible things after on. That's generally the way people do it, right? Does that make sense? So I want you right now, if you can, to make a list of the top 5 things that you're grateful for. Write them down in the comment section if you like. Remember, be as specific and as genuine as you can. Those are the 2. Promise me, or at least try, that for once a week, once a day, you'll keep that gratitude journal. 5 things that you're grateful for. Genuine, specific. That's the criteria. Now, the next 5 things. I want you to write down 5 things every day, or these may be more every week, that you want to learn to be grateful for. See, we all have things that happen in our life that feel like curses, that feel like things are going wrong, that feels like things are falling apart, that makes us feel like everything's just crumbling, right? So you can't feel grateful for everything in a specific and genuine way straight away. That's just total nonsense, right? If something bad just happens to you, if you just lost your job and I'm like, oh, just be grateful for it, you'll just be like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, how do I just be grateful for that? So I get that, right? If someone just broke up with you, you just ended a relationship and someone goes, oh, just be grateful for that. I get that. It's not as easy as that. So what I'm saying to you is write down every week 5 things that you want to learn to be grateful for. What you're doing is you're planting an intention, you're planting a seed that you want to grow when you say that. The problem with most of us, or the challenge with what we do, is that we never plant that seed. We just feel bitter about something. And if we don't plant that seed, it never happens. I'll give you an example. If you walk into a room and it's already dark, and you say, I don't want to turn off the lights, and you're stubborn, no, I'm just annoyed that it's dark, what's going to happen? You'll trip over. And that's what we do in dark times. If we just get bitter, right? If we don't turn on the lights, if we don't become grateful, if we don't embrace these things, we will just stumble more and more and more. And that's why it's so important that in these times, we actually realize and recognize that what are the things we need to learn to become grateful for and plant that seed rather than plant the weed of bitterness or anything else, right? Really think about that. What are the 5 things you want to learn to be grateful for in a specific and genuine way? Right now, they don't feel genuine. Right now, you don't know specifics, but how can you start becoming grateful? Kimberly says, maybe I can do this with a couple of friends. Is it a good idea to share your journal? Great question, Kimberly. I recommend this is a practice you do personally. And if you are going to do it with someone else, do it with someone that you really trust. Do it with someone that you don't feel you're going to agitate or make them they may get jealous or envious or might start looking at things differently. You want to do this in a safe space. This is something that I recommend doing personally and connecting with only people that you really trust, that you really have a bond with, if you want to share it with other people. But still, perform the exercise personally, then share it, right? It's also a good idea to share certain parts of it and maybe not share all of it, depending on how much you trust the other individual. I'm just imagining a world, I'm an idealist, but I'm imagining a world where everyone keeps a gratitude journal and starts expressing gratitude. And what I'd love for you to do, this one is taking it further, and this may be every month. You find 5 people that you can write a thank you note to, right? It doesn't have to be like this piece of art. It doesn't have to be a gift. It can just be an email, right? It can just be a text message. It can be a WhatsApp message. It doesn't have to be this incredible investment of time. Choose 5 people. It might be a work colleague. It might be a neighbor. It might be a friend you haven't spoken to in a while. This happened to me yesterday, right? And this is true, right? So I was thinking of a former colleague that I used to work with. I haven't seen her or worked with her for about 9 months, right? 10 months. I've not spoken to her, not worked with her, or anything like that. But for some reason yesterday, I was feeling grateful to her. I was feeling grateful to her because I remember at the last day of one of my previous jobs, she came on my last day with a handwritten card and chocolates to say, Jay, I hope you do extremely well. Good luck for your new journey, etc., etc., etc. Just this gesture. She'd taken out time out of her day to come from another location, to come to me, to give me this card, to give me the chocolates, just say good luck for everything. So what I did yesterday was that I wrote a really short email. I just said, hey, I hope you're well. It's, what you've been up to, how's life? I knew she was getting married this year, so I said, how's married life? I hope your wedding went well, etc. Just reconnected with her. Funny thing is, she got back straight away and we started talking. She didn't even know that I'd moved to New York, so I let her know that. And the incredible thing is, she's actually coming to New York next week. Now, and we're going to meet up and I'm going to say hello to her and meet her husband as well. And I was just thinking, imagine if I didn't send that. That wouldn't have happened. And it's incredible that it happened at this time. And I'm really looking forward to seeing her now because I've got such good memories of what a friendly, important person and colleague she was at that moment in my journey. So people are powerful. If you can find 5 people this week, this month, this year that you can just write to, remember, it doesn't have to be the biggest gift in the world. It can be something very, very simple as a gratitude note. I promise you it will make a massive difference in their life. Now, I've got another friend. He came on the show. His name's E, right? You may remember him from a previous interview. And he was talking about gratitude. Now, he, on social media every day, on Instagram, he posts what he's grateful for. Now, he won't always go into so many details, but he'll point something specific. It's great. If you can use your social media channels to promote something that you're grateful for every day, that's beautiful because all it's doing is allowing more people around you, first of all, generating what kind of people you want to attract to yourself. See, some of us are scared of putting out our positivity, our gratitude, and all these things out there because we almost think, what, are people going to think I'm a bit loopy? Are people going to think I'm a bit, what's wrong with me? Like, am I all peace and love? But the funny thing is that the vibes that you're putting out there is going to attract the people that come around you. So if you want your energy and the people around you to be full of positivity, gratitude, upliftment, fulfillment, satisfaction, success, we need to be putting out those messages in order to attract that back into our lives. Paro, Jay, can you share 5 things which you feel grateful for today? Thank you so much for putting me on the spot. Number one, I'm really grateful for the fact that I get to do these lives every day. Even sometimes when I'm tired, even sometimes when I've had a long day, I'm extremely, extremely grateful because I get to connect with so many amazing people like you across the world. Second thing I'm grateful for is that I'm really excited to spend time with family and friends this weekend because we've got a longer weekend. I'm grateful that it's giving me more time to spend with certain people. The third thing that I'm super grateful for today is that, I'm grateful for the fact that I connected with an old friend and that she's coming in next week as well. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. Fourth, I'm really grateful because I got introduced to some amazing people yesterday who are helping me take my work further. And I thought that was phenomenal. And the fifth thing I'm grateful for today is that I'm working with some fantastic people, everyone in the studio, from the people behind the camera, from the people producing the show right now. I'm really blessed to be working with an amazing team who make all of this possible. Para, thanks for putting me on the spot. I hope that answers all your questions. Now, I want to push you a bit further because I think everyone tuned in is always extremely mature, extremely enlightened as well. I want to push you a step further. I want you to think about someone that you feel, not someone really too bad, but someone that you just don't connect with, someone that you don't like so much, someone that you feel doesn't like you, someone that you just feel doesn't have your best interest at heart. And I don't need you to write them a letter, I don't need to go speak to them, I just want you to write 5 things that you're grateful for that they've taught you, right? What lessons has that person taught you? Now, if you were here yesterday, I had Asia on the show, Asia Mayrock, and she was talking about what she'd learned from her bullies. It's incredible because bullying, what she received, has turned into the best gift for now what she's helping and the qualities and confidence she has. And that's what I want you to hone in on. I want you to write down the 5 things you've learned from anyone who's hurt you, anyone who's let you down, anyone who's led you down the wrong road. And that's not every day, that's not every week, that's not every month, that's just something general you need to do, right? That's not something you do regularly, but I'm pushing you out there because I think you're ready for it. I think you're ready to hear that. I want you to really connect for that. Think of people that you think you don't connect with. Write down 5 things that you're grateful that you've learned from them. Right? Shamil, how to be satisfied from what you have? The best way to be satisfied from what you have is realize that most of us, what a lot of us have, a lot of people don't have. Right? If you just have food in the fridge, clothes on your back, and a house to live in, we're richer than 75% of people across the world. Right? That makes you grateful for what you have. Just recognizing in perspective what the world would look like if you actually knew what was happening on the other side of the globe. That makes you grateful straight away for what you have. Second of all, how to be grateful or satisfied with what you have is recognizing that if you didn't have what you have right now, you wouldn't be able to think the way you are. So having what you have right now is giving you that step or that platform to think further. Cannot think of anything, just hate comes to my mind. Lavanya, I know it's hard, so don't go straight there. Start with the others first. Remember, we've got to retrain our brain for gratitude before we start testing our brain. So that last one I set is super hard, super difficult. Don't dive into it straight away. Do the exercise in order of how I suggested it. If you ever feel ungrateful, visit hospital, says Nancy Regan. So true. I remember when I was a monk, I used to have to take some of our elderly monks to the hospital. And I remember it being a phenomenal experience, just making me recognize how fortunate I was with my current level of health and what more I could do with it to make a difference. It's easy to wish for good health when you're sick. Remember to enjoy it when you're healthy. That's what gratitude does. Thank you so much, Matilda, for that comment. Gratitude allows you to experience, feel fulfilled, and enjoy the moment by recognizing how beautiful it is. Actually, without gratitude, we just don't experience beauty. We don't experience the amazing experiences. We don't get a chance. We don't give ourselves a chance because our mind's somewhere else. So gratitude actually is allowing you to be happier in the moment. Right? There may be so many things going on this weekend. There may be so many things in your mind, but just being grateful that you're around people that love you. You're grateful that you've got some time and space to think about stuff. And even if things don't go to plan and don't work out, you can be grateful for the space that you're in, whatever it may be. Start with the least thing you can be grateful for. Just connect with something, right? But that's where it has to start. Grace, spending time with people who aren't like you helps you become aware of what you have. Totally true, very true. So the studies around gratitude are incredible. It makes you healthier, it makes you sleep better, better self-esteem. It even looks at how thanking people regularly and genuinely and specifically again allows for better relationships with individuals. So I really want you to do that. Today, I want you to try and do this. I want you to start keeping a daily or weekly gratitude journal. I want you to do it 15 minutes before you go to sleep ideally, or any time in the day that you can find it. I promise you, you'll sleep better, you'll rise better. I want you to think of 5 things you're grateful for. Right? Can start material, get more subtle. 5 things you want to learn to be grateful for. And then 5 people, I actually want you to write to them and actually give it to them personally and see how much it changes it. If you don't follow us already, find us at HuffPost Rise on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. Come and follow us. If you don't follow me already, I'm at JShettyIW on Facebook and Twitter, ShettyJ on Snapchat and Instagram. I'll see you very soon. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.